This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, and welcome to Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network powered by Raven International. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. This is the show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love. Well, it's dream time today on Dream Power Radio. We're going to be talking all things dreams with one of my favorite dream masters, Walter Berry. I do seem to be saying the word dreams a lot, aren't I? Well, there's a reason for that. Well, for years, Walter has been running dream group and workshops in the Los Angeles area, and he's spoken about dreams in places like Harvard University and appeared in major national newspapers. He's featured in the book Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, and rumor has it, he's about to come out with a new book all about dreams. Maybe we'll hear about that in a little while. So, Walter, welcome back to Dream Power Radio.
Glad to be here, Debbie. Glad to be here.
So I tell you, I was using the word dreams a lot. Is there a good synonym for dreams? I mean, I really can't think of a better word to describe what.
I know, actually, because I wrote a book on it. It's like you want to say, thesaurus and dreams, and there really isn't anything. There's that, there's some word. What is it? Aeronaut? What is that weird word that like the lucid people use? I have no idea. So dream. I don't know what else to do. Yeah, it doesn't have much.
You can't say nightmares because they're not all nightmares, and
right.
You can't say I don't know. But anyway, yes. Yeah, I guess we're just left with dreams, and we'll have to
dreams. I mean,
yeah. So I'm going to start out asking you this: how has COVID-19 affected your dreams?
It has. It has been. I've had a number of dreams where it's about confinement, and I just had one the other night with a chasm. I get lower and lowered into this chasm, and I'm trying to get out of it. There's a whole. That's where I find it to affect me. I also find that I do a dream group online, but I so miss the in-person piece of it. There's something about touching people and being able to talk in a group and stuff, and it's really. It's pushed things around, and I've worked a lot of COVID dreams where people have had bugs flying through the window, and it's affected everybody. I think it really is. Our psychology is really tough right now because of this.
Yeah, I think so. But have you found that all of the COVID dreams, you have sort of a negative tinge to them? Or
yeah, most of them. I hate to admit that, but yeah, it feels like most of them are that. Sometimes, dreams always offer us a solution, at least in my world, and so there's usually, I think a lot of the times when it's the COVID is kind of like when we dream, the symbols of our lives or the things that happen in our lives are used as symbols. Like, I just got back from a trip on Big Sur. So I'm having dreams with, coastal mountains and that sort of thing. So same thing with COVID. I think it also can be a tool to say, what's bugging me, for instance, and I don't think it's just about COVID. I think it's about what bugs me in my life. At least that's when I work through dreams with COVID dreams with people. It turns out it's more than that. It's about, it's about their lives and what's bugging them and what's holding them back. The aspects of COVID that actually reflect in our own life.
Yeah, well, isn't it always coming back to what's going on in our lives?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, people don't want to admit that. It's really funny because our egos get in the way of that. But yes, absolutely. It's like, I'm sure this is just a dream because of COVID. It has nothing to do with the fact that I just divorced my husband and my children hate me. But I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, Okay.
Yeah, that's just a little side thing. It doesn't mean anything at all. Yeah. I'll give you my first, what I like to call my first COVID dream, because to me it was a good dream. So So this was like right when it was first announced, when it first became aware that it was going on. I had a dream, And like most of my dreams, it's really kind of short and sweet. But the gist of it was that I just saw all these seeds flying around all over the place. And I took it to mean that, it's time to go out and plant seeds in terms of looking for other avenues to go out and find things and not be confined to any place, and that things will grow.
Yeah.
And that, it's a time to start things. And I was told actually back in December, I'd interviewed an astrologer who was talking about what's going to happen in 2020. And she didn't predict the virus, but she did say, basically, fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a wild ride this year. And the best thing you could do is be prepared, go within, understand yourself, be comfortable with yourself, and then you'll be able to ride it out and find the solutions you need. And so having that armed in me, like when this first happened, it's like, oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And that kind of really served. So,
I think that there's a real, for my money, even though this is really difficult, it also is the fact that we have a chance now to look at ourselves. Because we are alone, we're held in, we have to stay home. It's a wonderful time to actually discover your own soul. To say, what's going on? As a matter of fact, I've worked more dreams lately because people now are remembering their dreams because they're not working or they're not getting up at 6 o'clock to go to work and forgetting their dreams. So I like, in a sense, there's kind of a double-edged sword. It's a terrible thing, but it offers us the opportunity to really discover who we are, to really dig in and say, here I am, here are my dreams, even in my life where, what do I need to fix in my house? What do I need to do with my life? How do I improve my relationships? So that's
and we need that more than ever because we are facing new challenges that we haven't had to deal with before. And knowing ourselves, the thing that I love about dreams, I'm sure you do, is that, dreams give us the answers. They give us the insights into what we're looking for. So when we work with that, knowing that, that's really going to help us ride out this storm in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to get back to, you've been working, I said at the beginning, you've been working with dream groups, for a long time. Do you find that working in a group is the best way to get an understanding of your dreams?
Yes, I do. It depends sometimes on the situation and the dream. I mean, there are dreams where I've had dreams that are very private dreams that people don't want to really share with a group. There's especially some sexual dreams. People are afraid of dealing with that sort of thing. But for the most part, what happens in a dream group is it's magnificent because you have, if it's done correctly, you have a whole series of people voicing the dream in their own voice. They have a voice and they're giving that same dream a little spin this way, a little spin that way. And it reflects, and it not only teaches and opens up what happens with the dreamer, but also our own lives. I mean, I've learned stuff from people's dreams. I went, oh my God, I never thought about this or that. I've never thought about how it feels to be in a prison. How does that really feel? Or whatever it is. It's tremendous to work with a group. It's magnificent.
Yeah, and you said now it's all online, of course. So how is that working out?
Well, it has its upsides and its downsides. It's the upside of it is that I have people from Australia and England and Canada and Berkeley and all some people all over the world. It's I have to limit the group, but you at least get that. So there's positive aspects of it. Then you get all those very diverse feelings and ideas that come into the room. But I do miss the in-person piece of it. It's not quite the same. It's a little sterile, as we all know. I mean, I think you found that too, or not?
Yeah. I mean, you always get that added dimension of being physically in the same place with another person, but it beats the alternative of just being by yourself. So,
yeah. I mean, I find that when we finish with the group, because it's like a once a week thing, and it's like, I'm just jazzed. It's just, I feel like, oh, my soul feels a little enlivened. I feel like something happened, instead of just like watching television,
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you, this isn't about dreams. I'll just divert a little second, but, I'm a member of a local writing group, and we used to meet in the local library. And when, everything got shut down, it became a Zoom meeting. And for some people in the group, it's their lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
They look for, it's the one day of the week, one night of the week, they just look forward to it because it's, that companionship that they're not getting it. They're, for reasons, that they have to stay confined or whatever. It's wonderful. So, there is a good side and the bad side, but we could still dream. You could dream wherever you are. That doesn't matter. Yeah. So, how'd you get started doing dream groups?
I got started. I studied under Jeremy Taylor. If you probably know him or of him, he was a minister and one absolutely tremendous dream worker. I came into dream work because I had a precognitive dream that I had no idea about dream work, and I had a dream in which I knew what was going to happen beforehand. I've never seen anything like that. It was bizarre, and I thought, okay, I got to look into this dream stuff. So I found him and started, and boy, it just bowled. I went crazy after that, There's a lot to it, of course, many years of figuring things out. And my particular thing is that I have people draw their dream. And that came much later because I was just working dreams like normal people do and everything else. And it was really good. But then I had this person, we got time for the story, a real quick one, is that she told this dream about Uncle Billy goes up the stairs and he goes into the laundry room, but there's two porcupines, but the porcupines turn into bears, and this guy is getting money for the machines, and then the guy's leaving and it's raining, like you go. And I had them tell the dream again and again, and I could not make any sense of it. It was like so all over the place, and the porcupines turned into yellow bears, and they got shot. And so I said, "Could you draw it?" Because I'm a visual person. I work in the motion picture industry, and I'm a visual person. I'm an artist. So they drew this little drawing, and I went, "Oh my God!" It made sense. We now had something to work from, and I sat there with that frame and said, I see Uncle Billy now. I see the bears. Oh, I see the porcupines. It made it so clear. And that started, the whole idea of actually drawing the dream. Other people do this too, I'm sure, but it's become my bailiwick, as it were. It's tremendous.
I know you get a lot out of that. I have to admit, I shouldn't say never because it's probably have in the past, but I very rarely draw my dreams because I can't draw. I mean, my stick figures are bad stick figures. So
yeah, well,
what do you do if you can't draw? How does that work?
Well, what I encourage people is that there are some people who just won't do this because they have that same issue. But my thought is I don't care what your stick figures look like. If it's a mountain and two people climbing up and a line going up this way with two stick figures, we can all do those. That's good enough. Because what happens, of course, is when we draw them, there's something happens. Something happens to us. Something magical happens. There's the unconscious has this way of coming through. It's just amazing what happens. It's amazing. Things get exposed that you had no idea. I had a woman who had this dream, and she drew it in these two circles with the centers, and when she drew it, it was a body with breasts, and she was like these compounds that she lived in, and she went, "Oh my God, that's my breast! Oh, it's my mother's breast!" And she went into this whole thing about her breasts and her mother's breasts and her caring for people and everything else that because of the picture. It was fascinating. So for my money, just give it a shot. Draw crappy things, and I don't care.
Well, there's a first time for everything. With that, we are going to take a short break. We are speaking with Dream Master Walter Berry, and we'll be right back. What do Thomas Jefferson, Elias Howe, and Paul McCartney have in common? They all understood the value of dreams, and as a result, the ideas, inventions, and creations from their dreams affect us to this day. What great ideas are you leaving on your pillow at night? Sign up for a complimentary consultation at my website, thedreamcoach.net, and discover why your dreams are a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're speaking all about dreams with Walter Berry. Well, Walter, you have said in the past that dreams give you a sense of awe. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Oh, don't start me on that. I'll try to be good. It starts with the idea that dreams speak in a symbolic language. They don't come out and say, I think you should leave the guy who's beating you. They do a tsunami wave instead. So they speak a symbolic language. And so what happens is that it comes from, I think, our souls speak naturally, poetically. And so in that place, in a sense, underneath, that soulful place under all of us have deep inside of us, is this voice, the unconscious, the collective unconscious connected to it. And we have this incredible voice. And if we can somehow allow ourselves to fall into that, it's a sense of awe. Oh my God, it's what it's all about for me. It's about that sense where you go, oh, that feeling of awe. It happens if you can fall into the dream because it's poetic. It has meaning. It's not just clear like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's this beautiful rhythm. It's dancing. It's poetry. It's philosophy. It's wonderful. And it's a natural place of awe.
It is. I would totally agree with that. And how do you get people who tell you, well, no, I don't dream, or, I don't remember my dreams, how do you get them to understand that?
It's a little difficult, but I always thought it's actually a practice. It's like anything else. It's like yoga. It's like exercise. It's like anything else. If you just practice, you actually want to have a desire to remember your dreams. First of all, a lot of people they just think they're crap. They're just blah, blah, blah stuff. If you think of them as something from this is where I get off on this whole thing, is that if you think of them as that sense of awe, then, oh my God, let me remember that dream last night and see what happens when I open it up a little bit. It's a practice that everybody has to do if they want to, if they don't remember dreams, because actually we dream between 2 and 4 hours a night. I mean, we actually, all of us, not without exception. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, hello, if you could just remember a few of them,
Right. And like we know, when you really dive in and understand them, whole worlds open up.
Yes. And then you remember more. Yes. Yeah.
And you go on from there.
Yeah.
From there. So before, you said that you're an artist and you've been a lighting designer in the motion picture industry. So you work a lot with light. And one of the most fascinating things, the most memorable things I remember is at the International Association for the Study of Dreams conference, you did a session where you had people tell their dreams using one light and change a different light, and it was totally different. Can you talk about that? And do you still use light in your dream understanding?
I do sometimes, but usually when I go to the conferences, I do it. Otherwise, it's too difficult. But it is, that was a wonderful experiment, and it was wonderful because a light and color of light, it changes how we feel about things. We don't think about much about that. I'm of course a nut about not light because that's what I've dealt with for 40 years in the motion picture industry. So I'm really attuned to shadow and light and color and nuance and stuff. But it's like if you can take that and wrap that around somebody and turn the entire room bright red with no other color, it changes how you feel and see about things. It's like, it's just at least just one way to really work at it. Yeah, light is an amazing thing that, actually, tell you the truth, I don't understand. 40 years I've studied it, and I actually don't get it. It's a mystery.
Well, if you don't get it, how are we supposed to get it?
I don't know. I'm still working at it.
Because
Maybe
you're the expert.
I'm the expert, and what is light? What is it about? It's very mysterious.
Yeah, and that use of color, it's different from the color we get when we have the dreams and the color in our dreams.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It has a totally different effect from that.
Yeah. It's a lot of people think they only dream in black and white, and then they just say, oh, well, okay. Then once they get a little practice in dreams, then it turns to color, and sometimes really vivid color,
Oh yeah. Well, I had read that most people up until the 1950s would say they dreamt in black and white, and it was with the advent of color TV and Technicolor movies that people started to dream in color. And now I think the last time they did a study on this, I think is that most people will say they dream in color.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried dreaming with crystals?
I have done some work with it, but it's not. I'm doesn't terribly successful. But I have a friend who's a gemologist, Jane Carlton, and she gave me a little packet of things you put under your pillow, and not just crystals, but other things that mugwort and things like that. Where and my son has a crystal shop in San Diego, so I have kind of a supply of them. And if I'm terribly honest, I go, yeah, I like them. I don't know what they do. It's like light. They have this kind of magic quality, I think,
Yeah, well, somebody gave me a Herkimer diamond and said, put this under your pillow. This is going to make a difference. And the difference I had for me is it did make my dreams more vivid, made the colors in the dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow. Yeah.
And that was kind of an interesting little sidetrack. I just said that I saw this, or you did this experiment at the International Association for Study of Dreams conference. And one of the things you are big on at that conference is doing the dream wall, which for people who don't know, at the last night of the conference, they have a big party where everybody dresses up as a character and symbol in a dream. And it's a lot of fun and great time. And you have done epic costumes and parties.
We've had some wild parties and wild. Yeah, it is true. It's a great chance to, when we do the conferences, there's a lot of people that are very scientific and they're all kind of like buttoned up and things like that. And there's all this discussion and words and stuff. And it's great to just let it loose and dress up like a snake and walk through the room like a snake and tell your dream about the snake that bit you. It's fantastic. People love it.
It is. So did you miss it not having this year?
Oh, you're not kidding. Oh, my God, yes. I had a costume already. I spend the year working on my costume. So it's like, we'll see. It's wild. It is wild. I went as Laura Bush one time. I've done all kinds of different things. It's been great. I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. So maybe next year.
Yeah, we're next year in Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. So although my astrologer friend just told me we may be in for a very long time before this, so we'll see. Fingers crossed we have it always. Well, you touched on this a little bit before, but one of the things that always impressed me, especially when I first met you, was you have epic dreams.
Yes.
You have major epic dreams, and you can remember them. So how do you remember a dream that's that involved?
Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes it's very easy. What happens that usually when they come, they're big dreams. And so they pop at you. Oh, and my thing is I try to be extremely careful with when I wake up from a dream. What I do is I have my phone next to I used to write it down, but I find that too slow and too cognitive. So I have my phone and I go, I talk into my phone and I get as many details as I can in a very quiet way without disturbing the dream as much as I can. And then once I get that down, I sit there and I think, okay, and is there? Wait. What about that orange bee that flew into the flower? And and I add those things to it because it's like they will appear. So it's the real concentrated effort to be able to like hold it together in a recording is for me. And then even when I write it up, once I get the recording pretty solid, I mean, if I really work at it, if I have to really work at it and get as much as I can on it, then when I write it up, other things will appear too. Oh, that's right. The woman was a Black woman, things come to you, because what happens is in our short-term memories are the things that hold dreams. The long-term memories in the frontal cortex are asleep at night. So when we do it, it's in that little catch that is there. So we have to kind of get as much as we can at the time. So, but yeah, there are times when I'm up at night for an hour writing and recording dreams, and I'm a little obsessive about it. Yeah.
So then you have all these notes in a sense written
Yes.
out about it. Do you then do the drawing or do you write about it first?
I usually write about it first. Sometimes I do the drawing if there's something really compelling in that I have to get down. But mostly it's the words because they can bring the drawing back again. And then I do the drawing. It seems like the drawing is an after thing for me that seems to help on another layer, another level. It drops down into a deeper place. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So you get the basic understanding first and then
Yeah.
for more.
Yeah, I mean, well, the picture behind me is a dream that I just had the other night, and it's that's a drawing that I did from it, So I hang them up and see what happens with the dreams. So
So once you hang it up, how long does it take you before you get that aha moment?
it varies. It varies. I've had ones where I've gone, oh my God, 3 weeks later, I went, oh, this is about my ex-wife. Oh no, or whatever it is, it comes to you because you keep going past this piece of art, and it's not a piece of art. You can see my stuff is that way. It's just stick figures and, scribbles and stuff. But there's a sense, there's something when you commit it to paper, there's something about committing it and having it a real source of the dream. It's for me, the drawings are a window into the dream. They are an absolute window that opens up into the place of awe. It's an entrance. It's a portal into that beautiful place of our souls that sits inside of us. Our unconscious has all this information for us and about us, and that's the portal. For me, is the dream drawing.
Lovely. Well, I can't end this without talking about that book. I understand the title is Drawn into the Dream.
Yes, Drawn into the Dream.
When are you going to see it?
It's soon. I mean, this the publishing thing that goes. It's new to me, but it's done. I just have to get it now out there. That's the part that's hard. But I have loved writing this. I just last night finished like the third rewrite of it, and I actually, to tell you the truth, I should admit this, but I thought, I need to write a conclusion. But I hadn't read it for a while, and I read the end of it. I thought I actually cried at my own book. I mean, maybe it's because I was finishing it, but it was like, it was really, really powerfully moving to me. It's a very personal story. It has a lot of dreams in it, a lot of dreams from a lot of people and drawings and stuff. It's a fun ride. I talk about Judy Garland, Greg Allman. I tell stories. It's you'll see. When you see it, it'll be, hopefully you'll like it. It'll be fun. But if not, okay.
Well, finish it because I can't wait to see it.
I know. I got to get it out. This is so difficult for me.
Oh my God, this time has gone by so fast. So my final question, how can people find out more about you and what you do?
I don't know. I'm on, I didn't think about, that's the part I haven't prepared yet. Like, I got a book, but I have no idea. I have a website that's not up yet. It's walterberrydreams.com. So that eventually, if you wait for a little bit, I'll probably have that up. My son's working on that, walterberrydreams.com. And that's about as close as I could get. That's going to be there, but I'm still, a little naive about all that stuff.
Okay. Well, once you get this book out, we'll let everybody know about it. Okay.
You got it.
Well, thank you, Walter, for being on Dream Power Radio today. We've been speaking with dream expert Walter Berry. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.